thing at the top of our menu since day one. Transforming customers into fans. We constantly have our finger on the pulse, helping kitchen appliance, but unforgettable experiences really worth sharing. How? By bringing people with the same passion together, not only digitally, but where real life happens, in their homes, regardless of where they come from, what drives them, how great their ambitions are, or what holds them back. We inspire them to try new things, because everyone deserves a life that makes them happier. Everyone should be able to turn a how into a wow and create truly delightful moments. With the best Thermomix we've ever made. Of course it can weigh, chop, grind, grate, steam, whisk, mix and boil. But for the first time ever, new cooking modes add more thought to your cuisine, giving you more wows and yummy mummies. More tenderness made effortless. More homemade yogurt and cheese. More pulled pork of the next garden party. More taste highlights by adding roasting aromas. And caramel creations prepared in a jiffy. The new Thermomix is cleaner, more powerful, and it's quieter. With a way larger display, a highly intuitive user interface, and recipe recommendations, making the best homemade meals easy peasy. Built-in Wi-Fi and Cookie-Doo provide daily inspiration, with over 40,000 guided cooking recipes created and shared all over the world, regardless of which device you use. And the best part, it gets better and better all by itself. Smart at heart, just like you. TM6, the all-new Thermomix, by Forvag.
Woohoo! I love this. Okay, I know that's going to happen again. 1 second. Okay. It happens all the time. I'm so sorry. Technical issues. Here we go. Can you all see me? I'm not sure. Alright, so here we go. Welcome to our tonight's winter warming cooking class. And we have just seen our preferred introductory video for the TM6. I know there are most of you are actually TM6 users here tonight. We've seen that from the registration report. So thanks for sharing that detail with us. We do also have a couple of TM5 owners who are maybe here hosting tonight, and TM31 owners, and even a couple of non-owners. So welcome everyone on board. My name is Jenny Falter. I'm one of the team leaders here in our, I'm in the Bayside area, but we all part, our presenters tonight are all part from one branch, and I'm going to introduce you to them in a second. I know that, at least 2 of you are here tonight because you are hosting a virtual cooking experience, so thank you very much for that. And before we get started, have a look what I have over here. And not that one, that's my microphone so you can hear me better. I mean this one. So, what you can see here is the new glider board, and what I'm doing here, one-handed, look at that. I can easily move around my Thermomix on my kitchen bench without having the scales impact. You know what I always say, you need to protect them with your life. So I'm trying to pull it if I'm not lifting it up, and you can see it doesn't move at all. That's why this board, and only this board, is approved by Forvag and Thermomix, and you definitely want to get your hands on this. So this glider board is our this month host reward, only for the month of June, and if just for hosting you could get it for $50, and if someone purchases at your hosted cooking experience you could even get it for free. If you don't want to host but you still want the glider board, it is also available in the mix shop. It comes in 3 different colors, in beechwood, in painted black beechwood, or in this beautiful white. And if you do purchase this via the mix shop, make sure you put the name of your consultant in before you check out. All right, what else is on offer? We have this month free gift with purchase is the beautiful Simply Delicious book, which has family meals for $5 and under a serve. I think very appropriate at times like this at the moment, where we can help you to learn how you can actually save money using your Thermomix. The more you use it, the more you save. And it also comes with 2 of our favorite rose gold oven tray series, the pizza tray and the 12-hole muffin tray. All right, so what we're going to see tonight is are 3 dishes, and 2 of them are actually out of this book. And I'm going to introduce you to the rest of my team. We have Alana, Mandy and Amy presenting for you tonight. And I want you to have a closer look at what they're doing, and if you think, oh, this sounds interesting, I like the way these girls are having fun with what they're doing, maybe you want to join us and come on board and work together with us. How does that sound? If that's something you would be interested, please go back to your consultant who's invited you here today, or pick any of us, that's fine. Come back and learn more and find out how you could do this. All right, I'm not going to cook tonight. I'll be manning the chat for you. So if you do have any questions throughout the night, pop them in the chat box and let me know. I'm trying to help. I'm also sharing the recipe links to Cookie Dough with you, but I'm pretty sure Mandy will send a follow-up email with all the Cookie Dough links as well. Yes, I get a nod from her, so you're not missing out on the recipes. Enough for me for now. As I said, I'll be available in the chat and I'll be back with you at the end of this show. So now I'm introducing you to Mandy first. Here we go. Hi Mandy, what are you cooking for us today?
AJ, I'm cooking Joe Whitton's Wholesome Meatball Soup. And I only discovered this, I think it was last month, and it is the best, most delicious soup. So a good friend of mine's on here tonight. She's a neighbour, and she said, you're not going to eat that for 6 days in a row, are you? And I did, because my husband was overseas and I was not bored. It was just fantastic. So we'll get started, and I'll just show you quickly. Yeah, the meatball soup is fantastic, Emmy. All right, for those of you who don't have a TM6, I'll just show you how I've actually saved it, well, where I've saved this. You'll notice the TM6 has a large screen compared to the TM5, and obviously TM31s don't have screens. So with this one, we can cook off the screen. We've got a few modes hiding away over here as well. And that's something, the best thing for you to do to get up close and personal is to host your own cooking experience. So talk to your consultant and they will more than happily come and do that for you. So what I'm going to do though is go into the 3 little dots at the top here. I'm going to go into my week. And there I have, oops, I nearly stuck my elbow in something that wouldn't have been very pretty. And here I have what I'm making today, which is Joe Whitton's Wholesome Meatball Soup. Now, for those of you who don't know, Joe Whitton is very big on gut health and does a lot of gluten-free, dairy-free options. And this is one of these. And there's a couple of little tips I'll show you as we go through. So all I need to do on here is literally start cooking. And I have done this already. So again, for those of you who don't know, this is the varoma. This I'm actually going to steam the meatballs in over the soup. But I have greased that and put that aside. Anyone with TM31? This is 3.3 litres and yours would be 2.2 litres. And the bowl is a little bit bigger as well. Okay. So I'm going to place 100 grams of almonds. Now, just to have a look, you can see, because I've taken the lid off, I have to zero my scales. So I'm putting them back to 0. And this is a really good tip. So I did notice on the registration, a few people on here do eat gluten-free. When you're making meatballs, you'll see in other meatball recipes, it says use bread. I just use nuts every time. And this is a really good example of how you can do that. It's just to help bind the meatballs together. So your almonds or any nuts you've got will do that for you. So I'm popping those in. Okay, 1 tablespoon of my herbs. I've only got oregano. I've got to go up to the sauce and fill up my others. So I'm just putting a tablespoon of that in. A little bit of sea salt. I'm not putting too much of that in because I'm actually going to use some stock paste a little bit later. And some black pepper. My lid on. And then you'll see it's set the time already. That is 10 seconds. All I need to do here is turn it up to speed 10, which is right the way around. Whoops, right the way around here. All right, before I throw the egg in, I'm just going to show you what's happened in here. So there we go. We have almond meal. This is fantastic because you probably well aware we're talking about money savings as well, but making your own almond meal is far cheaper than buying it already ground up. So the fantastic thing with the Thermomix is that you can make your almond meal in 10 seconds. Anything that's processed costs more than the raw ingredients. So that's a really good money saving thing straight away. I've got my egg cracked into this cup. I'm just going to pop that in. I'm putting 500 grams of beef mince. Now, have a look at this. This is from Woolies. I love this. So those of you who know me know I'm very much into sustainability as much as possible. This is actually cardboard with a plastic coating. You can pull the plastic off and you can recycle everything in this. Oops, pop that in there. Just break it up a little bit. Okay. Put my lid back on again. And it's 10 seconds on speed 5.
So whilst this is mixing, we can't hear Mandy, but she is a great source for all things sustainability. So if you do have any questions, please also pop them in the chat box and Mandy will answer them for you.
Do my best. It's a journey, everybody. So that's the meatball mixture. And what I'm going to do now is actually just, it says on the instructions you can use damp hands, and that's absolutely fine. But the other, I think everybody's got different ones, but these are little, what do you call them? I don't know, little tong things that I use to make my meatballs. So I'm just going to pull my varoma over here, and all I'm doing is putting that in there, and then there we go, one little meatball. Just
Impressive. They are awesome.
Oh, they're cute. So, and you know, if you're super fussy, you know, you can make them very pretty. I'm not super fussy, but because they're going to go into a soup, they're going to get you're not going to really look at them in the soup. But there you go. There's 3, and I will keep going with this. And I think we're moving on to Alana. Thanks, Jenny.
Right. Okay. So let's add Alana's kitchen to the screen. Here she is. Hi, Alana. What are you cooking for us tonight?
So I'm going to cook the lemon delicious. I don't know which one I'm looking at. I'll go this way. I'll move you over. There you go. So I'm cooking the lemon delicious tonight. So with the lemon delicious, I first got introduced to it by my husband, who used to have it. His mum used to make it from when he was a kid, and it used to come in a nice packet, and you would just throw it all in and put it together. And then I found the recipe on Cookie Doo, and I said, look what I can make from scratch, easy, with no nasties in it, and a much more delicious version, I reckon. So it has a lot more of a lemon kick and a lemon hit. So if it's called a lemon delicious lemon pudding, as others might know it as, it's a lemon pudding. But it's really, really nice dessert to have on the winter months. And it's a nice dessert to have anytime, really, because you can throw it with some ice cream or whatever. And super easy. I'm just going to find it on here. I've added it to my week. So I just go into the settings and go to my week, and then I can see it here on here. I've got our 3 recipes for today, and it's on my week. So I'll just pull you in a bit closer. Hopefully you can see that. And then I'm just going to, it's telling me it's loading. Hang on. I've been having really bad trouble with my internet lately. There we go. All right. So we are on. So it just says to preheat your oven to 180 degrees, which I've already done. And then we click next. Just says to grease a deep-sided casserole dish, approximately, hang on 1 second, approximately 20 centimeters, and set aside. So I've already done that as well, but I'll just show you what I've done and what type of dish I'm using. You can use a variety of different dishes, but I'll just show you the one that I'm using for tonight. So in the recipe, if you've pre-read it, you've got your dish. So I've just greased mine there with some butter. So you rub some butter around it and just going to pop it in there. But when we go to put it in the oven, you basically do a water bath method. So I've got another oven baking dish that it fits into perfectly. So then I can put the water around it. So I've got that all ready to go for when we finish the recipe. Okay. And that's it. That's how me started.
Okay, I just had a look because in the book that comes where the recipe is coming from, we always get also an indication about the cost per serve. And actually in the book it says it's 44 cents per serve for your lemon delicious.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I like it. It's cheap and good. So the first step is we're going to use some lemon zest. So you've got 1 lemon, the zest only, so no white pith. So what I've done is I normally, just an easy way that I do mine is I just pop the, get a peeler and just peel the lemon, and just, because it's going to chop it all up, I don't need to use an actual zester, you know, one of the ones that you can run along it or to grate it down. So we just pop that in, like so.
Sorry, guys, I've got to leave. Bye.
Okay, bye.
No worries. Next, we're going to add 220 grams of raw sugar. Now, sugar can be a touchy subject for some. Some like a lot of sugar, some don't like a lot of sugar. So the beauty with your Thermomix is you can cater it to how you like it, basically. So if you want to tone down the sugar, you can tone it down a bit. Okay? So I'm just going to weigh my sugar in here. Or 225. I went over a little bit. We'll just be high on sugar today. So now it's literally just going to blitz up the raw sugar and the lemon zest into basically a zesty lemon zest sugar powder, icing sugar powder, basically. So I'm just going to grab that lid, put that back on, and it's just going to do that for 20 seconds on speed 9. Okay.
Okay, so I don't know if you can see that in the chat. We're having here a little discussion about the costs of this dish. So the recipe says it's going to make 8 serves, so 8 times 44 cents. And I think you can bring this even down if you do have a lemon tree in your garden, or when you're walking the dog and just grab some from next door neighbors who have a bucket standing there in front of their house. So get these lemons for free when you can, and make this dish.
Weird. Sorry guys, I couldn't hear you when that was going.
That's all right. I was talking.
So that's basically our lemon zest and our raw sugar all put together. So we can see that. Super easy. So now it just wants me to add 125 grams of unsalted butter. So I'm just going to re-tear the scale so they go back to 0. I've got the butter. I've just sort of roughly chopped it up. I'm just going to pop that in. Go. And that's 127. So apparently my measuring's not that great tonight, but that's all right. Near enough is good enough in some recipes. I'm just going to pop that in. So for 20 seconds, it's just going to mix that all together on speed 4. So just a gentle mix together.
So what are you doing here is you're using a guided recipe, meaning you don't have to know all of the little steps, and you don't have to put the settings in, because the TM6 is doing that all automatically for you. That's the bonus of having a guided recipe at hand. So it brings up the scales. And so, okay, we're ready?
You're right. The next step is it's telling you to insert the butterfly whisk. This is our butterfly whisk here. But you'll notice, if you can see the screen, we have some recipes include now a video. So for TM6 owners, you can see a video of how to input your butterfly whisk. So if I just tap on that to play, I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear it or see it very well, but it gives you an idea. So it just literally shows you how to pop your butterfly whisk in. So just in case you weren't sure, and you just click next and you move on to the next step. So I'm just going to pop that in. It just sits behind the 2 higher blades, and then you give it a slight turn, and if you give it a little tug and it doesn't come off, that means it's popped up properly. Okay, so it just tells me to pop the measuring cup in. Now it wants me to turn the speed selected to speed 3. In. I just want to make sure I haven't skipped a step. I touched it pretty quick before. That's all right. There we go. So 10 seconds on speed 3. Yep. And so speeding. So now we're going to yep, that's done. So now it just wants me to scrape down the sides of the mixing bowl. So how it's spread around the bowl with the butterfly whisk. So it's just that out a little bit more. And I'm just going to scrape the sides down now, because it's given it a bit more height and blended it together.
It's fascinating how quick everything happens. So when you do that with a different machine or even by hand, it just takes forever, and you just don't get the consistency that we just saw in your bowl.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. The next step is it's telling me to turn the speed selected to speed 3. Meanwhile, follow the next steps. So there's some next steps while the machine is in motion. So I've popped the lid on, but I haven't popped anything, the measuring cup in. So there's a little hole gap for me to add some things to it. So I'm going to turn it to speed 3. And the next ingredients is slowly add 1 egg yolk at a time through the hole in the mixing bowl lid. So I've got my egg yolks here. They're a bit mixed together, so I'm just going to go slowly.
Yeah, so that's the beauty again for the guided cooking. You don't have to know what you're doing. All you need to do is be able to read the instructions on the screen. And usually, as per default, we always have the measuring cup sitting in the mixing bowl lid, but at sometimes the recipe just asks for something to put through the lid. So that's what just happened here.
Yep. And that one, because I was a bit slow on that, I'm just going to take it back for just about another 10 seconds. So just go back a step, 10 seconds, and then I'll start it on speed 3 again. And just blend it a little bit more, because it's a little bit slow on adding the egg yolk. So that's so you can change it. Even though you're doing a guided cooking, you can go back and redo things if you need to. Okay, that's perfect. So now it just wants me to take out the butterfly whisk. So that's easy. I'll just show you first what my mixture looks like now.
Nice and creamy.
Yeah.
So yes, it was a very good tip that you just shared that, that you can adjust the time whilst you're within the recipe. Absolutely, you can. You are still in control what's happening in your Thermomix. So you can go steps back, but you can also override the timing. You can even override the speed and the temperature. So if you think that's not correct what the machine's doing, or it's not just enough, then you are in control. You can still override everything. Basically, the recipe is just a suggestion.
Yep. And I find I generally tend to change it a bit if I'm, say, substituting frozen vegetables for fresh vegetables in a recipe, because it needs to get to the heat, for a certain amount of time. I'll just check and make sure that they're cooked properly, or I'll add a little bit of extra time so that it gets to the heat that it needs to. So I've just added 75 grams of plain flour into the bowl. And now it wants 80 grams of freshly squeezed lemon juice, which I've got that here. Nearly grabbed the egg yolks. That would have been interesting. There we go. 80 on the dot. Now it wants 310 grams of milk. So I've got that here. Now, I don't think it matters for this recipe what type of milk. If you are lactose intolerant, I think a lactose-free would work as well. And same with nut milks. I think that I haven't tried them, but I think that they would probably work just as well. There we go. Now, pop the lid back on. Whisk the measuring cup in. And we're just going to turn it to speed 2 for 10 seconds just to mix all that together.
A lot of mini steps that you have in your recipe here.
Yeah, this is my last one for this point in time, I promise.
That's all right.
And basically, it just wants me to scrape down the sides, and then I'll do another mix again. And once that's done, I'm just going to pop it into that baking dish, and then later we'll come back and I'll do the next step.
All right, good. So we are heading back to Mandy's kitchen.
Better unmute myself. Okay, so what it's asked me to do is actually wash and dry my mixing bowl. But of course, if you have 2 bowls, you don't have to do that. You just move straight on to the next one. If 2 bowls is something that's of interest to you, then let your consultant know. And often we have them coming up as host rewards. Well, not often. A couple of times a year, maybe we get them as host rewards. So as your consultant knows, they can let you know when that's next on. So just bear that in mind. It's really fantastic having 2 bowls. All right, so I'll clean and dry mixing bowl. So now I'm putting 1 onion. So actually on the screen here, it says 1 onion cut into halves, approximately 150 grams. Now, I actually haven't weighed this onion, but if you wanted to check that weight, all you need to do is go up to the 3 little dots here and pop your scales on. All right, and I will pop this in. We'll see. Oh, not bad, not bad. Then you click that off. We're back in the recipe, and somewhere I had 2 garlic cloves. One of them's here, the other one, oh, that's disappeared. Anyway, all right, half a red capsicum. This was actually a small capsicum, so I put the whole lot in. All for lots of veggies. Then just set 3 seconds, speed 5. That is the general rule for onions. Okay, then there's going to be 30 grams of olive oil. First of all, there's my beautifully chopped up veggies. Just going to scrape those down a bit so we get everything being cooked up there. Again, tear my scales. And I'm popping in 30 grams just of olive oil here. This is the arm workout. There we go. Okay. And that's actually going to just cook for 3 minutes. Love that, Jenny. Yeah. So, if you're new to Thermomix, or even if you're not, actually, it'd be great for you to put in the chat. How do you smuggle veggies into your recipes, and which recipes do you smuggle veggies in that your kids don't even know? I know a lot of kids don't like green things. So is there any way that you smuggle veggies into the dishes that you make in your Thermomix? In the chat, love to see them. What else have we got here? What else are we talking about?
So I was just popped it in the chat. Okay. So hiding vegetables. So I want to hear your tips. So we see bolognese, spag bol. Yes, pop them. Yeah. Carrots into spag bol. Yep, absolutely. All the time. That's good. That's a good one. So if you have someone who is sensitive to colors, and I would, I'm speaking from experience here. So definitely try to color code the vegetables according to the color of the sauce. That really helps. So anything orange, purple, red can obviously go into a bolognese sauce. If you have to hide vegetables in a white risotto, my suggestion here is peel the zucchini, and obviously onions are also a vegetable. Peel the zucchini, keep the peel, pop them in the freezer, Ziploc bag. Next time when you're making vegetable stock paste, put the peel into your veggie stock paste and season the risotto with the stock paste so they do get the skin, just in a different processed form.
Very cool. Ree just made a really good point there too about muffins and things. So I know when my daughter lives in Ballarat, and when she was at uni, I'd go up there and I'd take her chocolate muffins because she's a chocoholic. What's in these, Mum? There could be beetroot, there could be black beans, there could be zucchini, there could be anything in there. So, but you know, most of them went down pretty well. But she was on to me. We have 39 seconds left to go. Yeah, absolutely, no waste. So any of the ends of your vegetables, you can just put them all in a Ziploc bag, pop them in the freezer, and then pull them out. So your stock paste can be made up of any vegetables. It doesn't have to be exactly following the recipe on Cookie Do. It's a great place to start with your very first one. But after that, honestly, you know, sometimes mine's orange because I've got pumpkin and lots of carrots. Sometimes it's purple because I've got bits of beetroot in there. Whatever needs to be used up in your fridge, use it in your stock paste. But a little word of warning, if you are freezing things for your stock paste, defrost before you make the stock paste, all right? Because it doesn't like cooking it when it's from frozen. All right, back on to the next step here. Okay, so 800 grams of tomatoes. Now, because it's winter and tomatoes are particularly in season, I'm just using 2 cans, and it's a really quick way of doing that. In summer, when they're in season, I would absolutely do the fresh ones, but I'm putting 2 cans of tomatoes in. It's always a good test to see how much is in the actual can.
Quality control.
Okay, well, that one's short 8 grams.
Yeah, because the TM6 scales go in 1 gram increments. So that's a huge difference here for our TM31 and 5 users. And we've all become very particular now with the weighing of pre or shop bought stuff if they're cheating on us or not.
Actually, the interesting thing that there was my second tin made up for the first tin. All right, 6 seconds on speed 10. We're just blending all of that up together.
There we go. Mandy, your kitchen gets compliments on how pretty clean your kitchen is. I like that. First I was thinking, oh, is he talking about my kitchen? But no, I can't see it, so must be your kitchen.
All right. Then 150 grams of button mushrooms. Couldn't find button mushrooms, so I just chopped up some bigger ones. I think there's around about that in there, a little bit less. Oh, no, it's pretty spot on. Popping my lid back on again. 3 seconds, speed 5.
Yeah, really any mushrooms will work for this recipe.
Absolutely. Then I'll tell you what, it's looking amazing already. You can see that colour. It's fantastic. And it's full of vegetables. All right, so 100 grams of tomato paste. So I've got that in here, but I've also, 100 grams of water, 2 tablespoons of chicken stock paste. Now this is made in your Thermomix as well. So I always make the stock paste and I always have the chicken in my fridge as well. So I'm gonna pop those in. All right, then I have to go back because actually, sorry, I missed a step there. 100 grams of water, and all I've done is I'm rinsing out my tin here. Some water. That'll do. I've got my chicken stock in there, my Italian herbs, a teaspoon of honey and a teaspoon of balsamic vinegar. So they are just in here. They're going in. Okay. And then I'm going to put the varoma on top and we're going to steam these meatballs over the top of the soup. Just if you haven't used your varoma yet and you want to have a look at it, get your consultant to come and do a cooking experience for you and make a varoma dish together. There's some great tips around, basics for using your varoma. It's a fantastic thing to do the layered cooking like this. You can feed a lot of people. So that is going to cook for 20 minutes on speed 2. Thanks, Jenny.
Okay, thanks to you, Mandy. We will now add Amy into the mix. Oops, where are you? Hang on. Something went wrong. Here we go. Now I can see
so
you.
So many great tips already. I think I've learned so much from just listening and watching you guys so far already. So it's been wonderful. I think we never stop learning on our journey with Thermomix, do we? It just gets better and better as we go. But anyway, so tonight I'm going to be making the chorizo and bean winter warmer. So I really loved it. When I was looking at what I was going to make tonight, I love the fact that I've got like 6 or 7 ingredients. It's just over $2 a serve. It says it'll feed up to 4 people, but it fed more than that for me, and I had leftover for the next day when I've tried it before. So it's I found, and also like my background's European, and it was just so traditional in ways that the flavors and the ingredients we used was very much like cooking something from the motherland, from where my parents came from. So I'm excited to show you guys this. And my Thermomix just went to sleep, so hold on a second. I have put it into my week for cookie do. But while this starts up, one of the ingredients is the dried black-eyed beans, which you can get from your local supermarket, maybe in the international aisle. I just bought a bag of those. Actually, I only use like 200 grams in this recipe, so it does last. The bag will last me a while. Hold on a minute. My week. And what it actually does is it sort of tells you, I love the fact that you've got your scales and you don't need multiple things to make a recipe like this as well. So one of the first steps was that you just popped a bowl on top of your Thermomix just like so. You weigh your beans, so the 200 grams of dried black-eyed beans. Now, if you don't have the dried beans, you could always just use a can of ready sort of made beans without having to soak them. But I did want to buy these ones for this recipe. So you just weigh that and then you just cover it with hot water. And one of the things you get with your Thermomix, if you do purchase the Thermo, or if you already have one, is your simmering basket, which I just use to then drain the beans for me, and I'm just going to leave them there until the recipe calls for it. So, and it just says to soak them for about an hour. So an hour of soaking will soften them enough, well enough for this recipe. So just drain it and set it aside. Then just pop one onion just cut into halves, which is the other thing I love about Thermomix. No, like sitting there chopping into little pieces. 20 grams of olive oil. Like that. So put your lid back on the measuring cup. And 3 seconds on speed 7.
You can also use the thermos server to put the simmering basket in and then weigh the beans straight in there. Then you also have a lid and you can leave it in there also when you want to do the soaking overnight.
You could do that too. I'm just going to scrape down the side. So you saw there, I just put, you know, an onion cut in half, and in literally 3 seconds, just speed 7, it just chopped that all up really nicely. Just going to scrape down the side. And then some chorizo sausage, 250 grams cut into slices. Now, I guess with this recipe, if you wanted to, you could just change it up a bit and not use chorizo. You could use a different cut of meat if you like, pork, whatever, beef, whatever you like. It's really hard to do. I'm going to follow things as close as I can today. So there's a sausage. Put our lid on. So 5 minutes, Varoma heat. The blades are reversed. So with the blades, if they're going clockwise, they're using the sharp end, and if they go anti-clockwise, they're using the blunt end. So it's not going to chop my sausage. And speed 1. So that's for 5 minutes.
Right, so you're doing some sauteing here. This is a recipe that is suitable also for TM31 honors and TM5 honors, meaning we're not using the high heat function of the TM6, what it has. If it would be a TM6 exclusive recipe, then we also could use the high heat at this stage, right? So with the Varoma temperature, we go about up to 120, 22, and the high heat functions of the TM6 actually are going the temperature up to 160. So not only that we can use that for browning our meat or onions in there, but also we could use it for sugar works and the like. So things like honeycomb, making your own lollies or praline if you're into baking, that is something a TM6 can assist you with. So not sure, are we going back to Alana now, or are we still talking, Mandy and Alana? No, about the chicken stock? We had a bit of chicken stock discussion going on in the chat.
Yeah, that's right. We had that to sort of go through, but I think everyone's had a bit of a chat about it, so we can keep pressing on. We touched on it a bit earlier. Mandy touched on it about having the bonus of having a second bowl and not having to wash in between steps. My next step tells me to thoroughly wash my mixing bowl and the butterfly whisk. So because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to whisk up some egg whites. So that usually requires a very clean and dry bowl. So there's a little tip that we have as well to do a vinegar wash on your bowl before you're going to do any egg whites. So if you need to clean it in between, if you don't have the luxury of having a second bowl that can already be nice and dry and clean, ready to go, you can do a vinegar wash before you whip your egg whites. So I've got the bowl ready to go. Again, we've got a little video. So you can see there's a little video on there, again, on how to put in your butterfly whisk. So that's fine. So I'm just going to pop that in there. Make sure it's the right way. So now it wants me to place 4 egg whites into the bowl. So I've got my 4 egg whites from my yolks earlier. So I'm just going to pop them in there. So without the measuring cup in, so it just wants us to pop the lid on. And leave the measuring cup out so that I can hear the egg whites whipping. So it's going to turn it to speed 4 just to get that started. So a little tip as well with your butterfly whisk when you're not using it in manual mode is that you can't go over speed 4. We listen also to when it's whipping the egg whites for the noise to change so that you can tell if they're done, so you're not going to over whip them.
Yeah, that's what we call cooking with your ears. So meaning have a listen what's happening inside your bowl, and more important actually is that fact when you do some whipping cream, right? So you're not turning it into butter. Over whipping egg white, I think it's harder to do that, but over whipping your cream, easily done.
I'm not. Can you guys hear me all right, Jenny?
Yep.
I'm not sure if it was in the chat or not before, but another option with the chicken stock paste is if you didn't think you were going to use the chicken stock paste as often as the vegetable stock paste, you can do a chicken stock powder. So there's a recipe in the Creating Something Incredible cookbook that came out last year celebrating our 20th anniversary in Australia, has the chicken stock powder recipe as well.
Yeah, that's a good one. Alternatively, freezing, put the paste in an ice cube tray. It will not freeze hard, so you could also just have it in a container and freeze it because of the salt. But if every time you reduce the salt content, either in your veggie stock paste or in your chicken stock paste, then you need to freeze it, otherwise it will go off. So the salt is the preservative in that recipe.
I just wanted to say something about the super clean bowl too, because the reason you need a super clean bowl is the eggs to really whip up properly. And it's not that your bowl's dirty, but it could be a little bit greasy. And if it's the slightest bit greasy, then the eggs aren't going to whip properly. So you absolutely need to do that. I don't know if you saw in the chat, but the way to get your bowl really dry is obviously to give it a good dry and then turbo, and that will flick any liquid that's left on the blades that you can't really dry off onto the sides, dry that off again. So it's really important to have a super dry and clean bowl.
Very important when you're trying to melt chocolate as well, by the way. All right, back to you, Alana.
All right, so it's just finished whipping the egg whites now. So it's just telling me to remove the butterfly whisk. So I'm just going to show you. Yeah, perfectly webbed whisk egg whites. I'm putting it all together tonight. And it's want you to gently fold that into your lemon pudding mixture. So I'm just going to do that now.
I'm going to see how you fold this. Lengthwise or half it?
You don't have to be too pedantic with it.
I'm joking. It's I think I've watched too much Schitt's Creek. Sorry about that.
Don't worry. When we did the Darren Purchase challenge and I had to fold it in, I was like, oh, I was getting a bit nervous. I was like, I don't know if I'm doing this right. Yeah, I know that I don't have to worry too much. So pop that there. If everyone can see that, just mix it in.
And it's so good to see how easy it is.
Yeah.
It's
so far away.
Don't think it's too hard. What I like about this step of doing the egg whites and whipping them, it makes this a really light and airy dessert. So it's not like a heavy pudding that you would normally have with a pudding. It would have a thick consistency. It's quite light and airy, which is really nice.
So very fluffy. So yeah, so just turning around, but gentle, so the stiffness of the egg white doesn't get lost, so it doesn't disintegrate into the batter.
Yeah, mixing it a bit here just to make sure that it's evenly through.
Mm-hmm.
Is it? So that goes into the oven now for 40-45 minutes, and that's your dessert done.
Wow, wonderful. Okay, we are heading back to Mandy one more time.
Yeah, no, I've got 7 minutes of cooking to go.
Okay, well then let's have a look. Alana is up. Amy is up too. Here we go.
That's okay. So that's just that just gives you a look of the onions and the chorizo saute, which is awesome. It smells really nice. It's saying now to add 350 grams, which it says approximately 5 potatoes cut into cubes, So I've just got that ready. I'm just going to pop that in. 400 grams of crushed tomatoes. This can was right on 400. There you go.
Winner.
Must be the brand. 2 teaspoons of vegetable stock paste. Which I love the stock paste. I put it in most things. So there's that. 300 grams of water, and I will do what Mandy did too, because I don't like to waste any of that goodness. So 300 grams of water. Then it just says to add the black-eyed beans. So just put that in on top. That's in. Now I'm going to use a aroma as well. So it says to put the aroma into position. And what I've already just done is I've shredded 300 grams of cabbage. So it's already shredded and ready to go in there. I always just leave a little bit of a space to help with the steam coming through. So it will just cook throughout the whole aroma. And then, so that's put into place. And now, still on reverse blade, 35 minutes on 100 degrees. That's going to cook. And this is one of my favourite things, that now, while this is making dinner, one-stop shop, 35 minutes, I'll come back, it'll be done. Gives me time to go and do other things. So now to the next person.
Yeah, I was just asking a question in the chat. Is anyone here tonight who's not using the aroma? So now that you've seen 2 dishes using the aroma, I would like to know, is there anything? Oh, Helena, thanks for being so brave and outing. What's holding you back? I mean, it's a step in a recipe where it says just add the put it on top of your mixing bowl lid. I mean, this is basically all. It doesn't get any harder than what you just saw these guys were doing with it, right? So I hope that after tonight you are brave enough to give it a go. And yeah, just okay, meals, ideas for meals, that's good. So now you got 2 that you can try. And believe me, it's not getting any harder. That's it. That's it. There's not more to it than that, all right? Just
and the other thing too is, like, if you didn't want to use cabbage, for example, you could do zucchini or something else, you know, any other veggies. If you didn't want to put potato in this recipe, you could change it and put pumpkin or just, you know, whatever you've really got in the fridge. It's a really hearty soup. It's quite nice. So, you know, you can mix it up with things that you like. It doesn't always have to be, you know, 350 grams of white potato, for example. You know, cabbage. Like, I actually found, as a cost saver, cabbage was actually quite affordable to buy in the shop at the moment, with the cost of veggies and stuff being through the roof at the moment. So, you know, I bought a quarter of a cabbage and I've been able to make 2 or 3 servings of this, you know. So it was a great cost saver for me as well, I thought. I actually don't mind the cabbage. So, but if the cabbage is not your thing, you can put something else in the varoma instead.
Let me come back once more to this book. It is actually what I like to call it our money-saving book. So not only it's simply delicious, but also it really has a lot of tips in the front. So people often ask me, why do I need a book? I've got Cookie Doodle. Yes, that's right. But most of our books really have a lot of add-ons. So in this book particularly, you also get really tips and tricks about shopping, what's in season, at what time of the year. You do get ready-made playlists. That's my favorite part, basically. In every Thermomix book that we have, you got playlists here. This is for someone who needs more recipe ideas or similar like that. So that's what the books are for. Also, basically in your basic cookbook that come with the Thermomix, so the white one with the TM6 and the green one with the TM5. There's so many resources in these books as well. So I know, because the white one in particular doesn't ever go into the kitchen, and it's fine, fair enough. So this is something that needs to go on your coffee table, right? And whilst you're cooking something, steaming in the varoma, that's when you get that white book out and you lie on the sofa and you have a little bit of read through. There's so many good chapters in there for particular topics. For example, risottos, bread, the sugar work that I said earlier, and so on, and yogurt making. So there's a lot of interesting reads in these books. That's why I do actually recommend getting your hands on them. Okay, Mandy, how far are we?
4 seconds.
Oh, well, then here we go.
Yeah, that's right. Come to me. So the other thing too is, Cookie Do is, it's just an incredible tool. So if you're not using it or you're not sure about how to use it properly, please talk to your consultant. All you need to do is put Varoma in the search and come up with Varoma dishes. And you can have a look and find dishes that you think, that appeal to you. Anything that's left in your fridge at the end of the week, stick that ingredient in there and you can come up with recipes. The other thing is, if you do the meal planning, then if you plan your shop your plan, that is the best way to save money. You just find what you need for the recipes that you have decided to have that week. So it's amazing, for time savings, it does everything. You've got all the different healthy recipes in there. You've got budget meals. Just put budget in there as well, and it will come up with budget recipes. So here we go. Mine now says, place the meatballs into your thermal serving bowl. If you don't have one of these, again, talk to your consultant. This is fantastic. It is like a double-walled, it's an insulated container, and it will keep your food warm for up to 2 hours. So you can make dinner, maybe you've got kids doing sport and you're racing around at night. Make your dinner, have it ready there. Someone's coming in at such and such a time. They can have their meal, pop the lid back on again, and then someone else is there an hour later, and you've still got your food nice and hot. So you're not, it just makes things a little bit more easier for you. But another little tip here: with your Varoma, when you take the lid off, always turn it away from you so the steam goes away from you. Then pop the lid down onto your bench and lift the Varoma down onto that, because then any drips from your Varoma will go onto your, I've just got my glasses steaming up now, but any drips will go onto the lid and not just all over your bench. So I have my little meatballs here, and they are all going into my dish here. That's the ones on the tray. I counted, I have 22. So it's only 2 of us, so this will do us for a few days, and it's meant to feed 6, so probably should have done 24 really, but there you go, I've got done 22. All right, because I'll get asked, how many meatballs are there? How many are they meant to have? All right, so I'm putting the meatballs in there, and I'm going to just, you find a few bits and pieces to bubble up over the lid here. I'm just scraping all that in. And then it's asking me to place 2 large zucchini cut into zoodles. All right. So zoodles, you've probably seen spiralizers. What I do though is if you don't chop your zoodles, they become very long, and it's not very pretty seeing them hanging out of your mouth. So I always make the zoodles. These are the ends that I've just chopped up, and then I chop those zoodles. So I'm going to pop them in just a sec. But I thought you might like to see. This is the spiralizer that I use. It's fantastic. It's just missing a little bit in the bottom here. It basically has, somewhere. There's a little thing that sits in there that has the spiky bit on it. You put your zucchini on there, or your carrots. So leave the end of the zucchini on, you pop that in there, and then there are 2 different blades here. You choose whichever one you want. This is the blade that actually makes the zoodles like this. You pop it in there, you lock it in place, and then all you do is this, and it makes zoodles for you. It's called Betty Bossy. if you're interested. I don't think you can see that, but Betty, Bossi, and it is fantastic. But there are all sorts of zoodle makers, spiralizers that you can use. All right, I'm just going to scrape this tomato off my lid, and I'm going to add. Oh, so looking forward to this. I'm going to add all these zoodles, and then I'm going to cook for 3 minutes. So if there's anyone else you want to go back to, Jenny, whilst these are cooking for 3 minutes?
I don't know. Can I get away from Alana or Amy? Is any one of you ready? No? No, they're not. Okay, adding myself to the panel then again. Yeah, so we're just quickly talking about the thermoserver. They are exclusively part of our host reward program, or if you are curious to become a Thermomix consultant, they are also part of our business kit. And what we recently discovered is there's a couple of different reasons why people come on board. At the moment, we have we're experiencing a lot of interest from people who actually want to are curious about a little bit of extra income. So money's tight everywhere at the moment. We've just heard about the ingredients in salad. Obviously, the whole salad story is very expensive at the moment. So people are looking for an extra income. That's what's possible. So if you already have a TM6, you actually have almost everything that you need to come on board as a consultant. The only extra thing would be a business kit, but that's information we would love to share with you about what's involved and how could you get or bring your Thermomix to work. Another thing is, because if you're thinking of upgrading to a TM6 and getting this beautiful book and the bakeware, you could also come on board and actually earn a Thermomix, so you don't have to pay for it. You could come on board and start earning commissions and let either reduce that price for the Thermomix for you with the business. And again, we're more than happy to share all the details and what's involved. What's in it for you, apart from a side hustle or a gig, like they like to call it right now. It is, you would come on board to join a team with like-minded people. Like everyone here just loves their Thermomix so much, and we love to share. So what we're doing here with you tonight, sharing our tips and tricks, our experience, we would love to share that with you. We would love to make you an expert user. So none of these guys here were born as Thermomix consultants. We've all learned this, okay? And we're happy to share that knowledge with you to make you an expert user as well. We do have a tried and tested recipe for success, and we're happy to share that with you too. So if that's something, I really want to share that with you, because we all know how much Thermomix has changed our lives and to the better, and we want everyone here also to have a chance to experience the same or something similar. Okay, who's next? I can't get any yet. Mandy?
Yeah, come back to me, that's fine. I love that, Diana, what you said about the best decisions that you ever made. I totally agree. I love being a Thermomix consultant. I've been a consultant for 7 years. I know there are people on here tonight who've been consultant for longer, but it's just so much fun. And as well as, some extra cash, we get incentives too. So last month, one of the things that we haven't mentioned was a limited, we got the limited time glider board as a host reward, but there's also a discount to our Fulbert vacuum cleaner. So Fulbert made vacuum cleaners before they made Thermomixes, and I earned one of those last month. So as well as my commission. So there's incredible things that you can do. A few months ago, quite a few of us earned another TM6. So there's really good value in the incentives that they're around as well. Anyway, I better be quiet. I've spent too much time with Jenny and Michelle Moss. Too much talking.
Never. Never.
All right. So just says to serve up with gluten-free bread, because I said Joe Whitton is very much into gluten-free cooking, and that's what I do as well. So I'm just going to put a little bit of my So rich, this sauce. It's just beautiful with the zoodles in it. Pop some of these in here just to show you. And I'll just pop a couple of little meatballs on top of that. And then what I would do is I would just serve it with a bit of Parmesan cheese as well. And of course you don't have to buy ready grated Parmesan cheese. When you have a Thermomix, you just cut off what you need and you grate it. No nasties, no anti-caking agent, any of that. And here you go. There is the meatball soup. So it's a really hearty winter meal, perfect for the weather we're getting at the moment. And it is, as I said, seriously delicious. I had it for 6 nights in a row.
It looks delicious, and I have made that one last week too, and it flew off the shelf. So yes, definitely not only a showstopper recipe, but also really, really, very delicious.
Melissa's put a great tip in there, a little bit of lemon zest to serve, lifts this soup to the next level. Wow, I'll try that. Thanks,
yes. I always trust Melissa's tips. She
absolutely.
is an expert user as well. Okay, so we're coming back to Lana. And is there anything you can show us?
That's right. I forgot to mention before I popped it into the oven. I'll just turn that around here. Before I popped it into the oven, I had to put it into my baking dish and then fill the baking dish halfway with boiling water before I popped it into the oven. Okay. So that just to create, I guess, the steam inside to help keep the lemon delicious nice and moist.
All right, good. So it's still in the oven. We can't see the end product
at the moment. I was going to have a one already pre-done that I could show you, but I've got very sick children, unfortunately, today and tonight. One actually just was a bit sick before while I was on, so it's been a bit hectic this afternoon, so I don't have a finished one just yet. We're still got a little bit for it to it ends. If you have a look at the picture on Cookie Doo, that's pretty much exactly how it comes out pretty much every time I do it. So, and then when you finish doing it, you can either dust it with a bit of icing sugar. I find we don't need it. I find it's got enough sugar in it. I don't need a dusting of icing sugar. If you were going to do it for something to make it look pretty, go for it. But I feel when we have it, we don't need it. And you can serve it up with a little bit of cream or ice cream, as I said, and it, works wonders. Or you could have some fresh fruit. Michelle Moss, it's the Lemon Delicious recipe on Cookie Doo. It's literally called Lemon Delicious. It's from the Simply Delicious cookbook.
I completely forgot to put the links in here. So thanks for the question, Michelle. All right. And thanks, Alana. And maybe we can get a photo of the end product and add that to our email that we're sending out. How's that? All right, perfect. I just made you. Okay, and Amy, one more time. Is there anything you can show us?
No, so I've still got 18 minutes to go, cook time. But once this is done, once it's pretty much finished, all you really need to do then is you pop the cabbage into the soup and you use your spatula to just, mix it all together. This recipe does call to put the juice of 1 lime. I'll be very honest, I will skip that bit and just leave it as a hearty soup without the lime juice. It's not something that appeals to me or my family, so I'll just skip that bit, and then it's pretty much ready to serve. And I think the thing I love about this is you don't necessarily, because it's got beans in it, if you wanted to have it early in the morning, I suppose you could, cook it with some eggs or something like that, add some egg to it. Or if you wanted to, you could have it for lunch or dinner for that matter. But you could just serve it with some crusty bread, some beautiful sourdough or something like that. And it is just, it's filling, it's full of good, nutrition and very few ingredients, and it'll feed the whole family. So I think I'll take a photo too, I guess.
I guess so too. Yes, so we haven't really worked out the timing here, but that's okay. Thanks so much, Amy, also for sharing all your tips and tricks for the team and for the class tonight. Basically, I'm now wrapping this up, and I wanted to tell you, or just letting you know, if you didn't like the recipes from tonight, don't worry, there are others. So I can only encourage you to go back to your consultant and ask them what you want to see. All right, so these were the recipes we have chosen because we are the ones who get to eat them now. But if there's anything else you would like to see, like, I really want to see how you make, I don't know, shepherd's pie, or I want to see how do you make a curry, or how does the rice cooking mode work, or how do I make almond milk, simple things. It doesn't really matter really what you want to see. I can only encourage you, reach out to your consultant. They do come with their Thermomix, all right? They're here for you. They're happy to help and to show you how you make the most out of your machine. So go back to them, book them in for a learning cooking experience or learning demo with you. Get your hands on the glider board at the same time. And if you have a brand new TM6 and you haven't had your delivery cooking experience or delivery demo yet, again, go back and talk to your consultants because they might have a 20% Mix Shop discount voucher for you. All right, that is about it from us for you tonight. Thanks so much for joining us, and let's keep the conversation going with your consultants, and love to see you back the next time. Bye for now.